Hey guys, all right, I am packed up, tied down, and back on the road. I'm done for today. I did not get all of it cut, but that's fine. I got enough cut. I got the area around the house cut down. I got most of the random maples that were popping up everywhere, and sweet gums and all kinds of random stuff. But as promised, I wanted to talk about a few things. First, what I did, why I did it, and is it worth it? If you only clicked on this video to answer that question, if it's worth it, I'm going to tell you right now, there's time and there's money, and they're both worth exactly the same. The question is, which do you have more of? That's your answer. Do you have more time than money, or do you have more money than time? Because right now, having invested what I have into the property, making plans to do more, cutting in driveways, building structures on the building, setting up infrastructure, water and sewer, septic, and all that kind of stuff, all the expenses that are to come. Right now, I got more time than money. That's all it is. You use what you got. And what I have is a finish mower. Is it the best tool for the job? Absolutely not. Should you even use it for a job like this? I would not recommend it. But if you are going to use a finish mower to brush hog, let me give you a couple of tips. First and foremost, walk the property. Walk the property as many times as you can, over and over and over again. And every single time you walk the property, back and forth in any pattern that you can, walk in circles if you have to. Every single time, I guarantee you, you're going to find more junk. You're going to find more rocks. You're going to find big sticks or roots sticking up out of the ground. You're going to find random stumps that just kind of got rolled up in the dirt and they got lost when everything was sort of getting rough graded. But a couple of rainstorms and all of a sudden you got this random stump popping up out of the ground. So walk the property over and over and over again. Okay, second, do everything you can to save your mower. And what I mean by that is take the time not only to push the boulders out of the way and throw the big sticks, but if there is a stump that looks like it's loose, kick it a couple times. It might not be in the ground. It might literally just be buried from when things got bulldozed. There were a couple of those today. And I just kicked them a few times and I saw that they were loose and just kept kicking from different angles until it just popped right out of the ground. And then I threw it off to the side in the woods. Adding to that note, not only do you want to, kick the stumps and check them, that kind of stuff, but get a forestry blade for your string trimmer, go around and try to cut down any saplings, anything that is a half inch or more. If it's a half inch or more, you might chop it with the lawnmower, or it might break your lawnmower. Do you really want to take that gamble? Just get a forestry blade for your string trimmer and again, walk the property. And every single time you see a random sapling that looks like it's just a little too thick, chop it off, throw it in the woods. Bring a chainsaw and put an old chain on it. One that maybe it's only got one or two more sharpenings left on it. Bring it with you and use it to flush cut any stumps that are too big to cut with your string trimmer. third note, your blades don't have to be that sharp. In fact, I'd almost recommend that they're not too sharp. My blades being sharp is kind of what caused my belt to break the first time, because it literally axed into a chunk of wood and it wouldn't let the wood go, and that's how the wood got caught inside of the deck. So my recommendation is if your blade is a little bit dull, it's really more going to smack the wood than it is going to try to chop through the wood. You're not trying to cut any wood with your mower. You're trying to cut brush and grass and weeds. You can cut through that because it's soft, it's pulpy, it's not hard to cut through. You want to avoid using your mower to cut through woody materials, roots, small saplings, unless if it's really fresh saplings. If it's like that, what you would call a semi-hardwood, where you can literally bend it like a noodle. If you hold it and you can bend the sapling like a noodle, then it's soft enough that you can cut it with your mower. Mow as high as possible. Even though you walk the property 100 times, even though you flush cut every stump you could find, even though you use the forestry blade with your trimmer to cut any of the really tough stuff you didn't want your mower to hit, even though you did all of that, you're still gonna find rocks and other things that you don't want to hit with your mower. And the best chance you have is cranking that blade up as high as possible. The drawback of that, unfortunately, is that you don't get a really good cut. In fact, it's kind of an ugly mow. But we're not looking for a beautiful finished lawn right now. We're just trying to keep the weeds down. We're just trying to keep those saplings from turning into trees. If you let those tiny little hardwood saplings grow through the summer, survive through the winter, they're going to harden through the winter, and then you got a real problem in the spring, because it's going to get that much harder to cut through those things. If you have the opportunity, always turn left. I know this sounds super weird, but here's the reason why. The discharge on your mower is on the right-hand side. If you turn to the right, you're going to be blowing just pollen and dirt and dust in your face all the time, especially if you're out here doing this in the summer where everything is dry and dusty, and frankly there's not a lot of grass on the ground. You're just mowing weeds, and the weeds are spaced out about every 10 inches. There's not a lot of green on the ground right now. So if you turn to the left, you're really always blowing it away from you. You're not literally turning into the giant dust cloud, and you're really just saving your sinuses. It's more of a comfort thing than it is anything else. Patience. If you're patient, you can do all of this. Keep in mind, if you've followed my channel for a long time, you know that I've always talked about the 5-year plan, right? Having a 5-year plan or a 10-year plan or whatever works in your budget. But having a plan is important. Putting that goal up on the board is important. Without it, you're aimless. You're just kind of making money and spending money and doing stuff. But when you have a goal, you're always thinking to yourself, do I need this, or can I put this money towards my goal? Do I need to go do this other thing, or do I take that time and contribute my time to my goal? What's more important? Part of that plan is patience, because you learn to have that patience when you have a plan. You see, I'm doing all of this stuff right now, and part of it is content for the channel, and part of it is I just enjoy doing this and answering that question of, can you use a finish mower to go brush hog your property? Like, who would do that? What's the point? It's super dangerous. Don't do this. Don't try this at home, kids. But I do it because it is part of, it is interesting for me. But it's also part of my plan. If I was not patient, if I didn't have a plan, if I was just kind of shooting from the hip and, oh, let's go clear some land and put a house on it, yeah, I would be paying for everything. I wouldn't have the mower that I have right now if I wasn't building on this plan. I wouldn't have the chainsaws, and I wouldn't have the equipment that I attached to my string trimmers, and I wouldn't even have bothered with any of this, because if I was shooting from the hip, I would have just been paying a lawn guy to cut my grass. Why would I need this mower if I'm just paying a lawn guy to do it for me? Now, all of this is building up to what is possibly my final homestead. And all of that is about being patient because you have a plan. So if you remember earlier, I talked about the fact that we've got termites out there, we've got all kinds of wood-eating insects that are just tearing all of that stuff down. They're feeding the soil, strangely enough, feeding the grasses, and once all of the main woody materials have receded, once they've eaten it all and it's all rotted away and the fungus has gotten to all the stumps and the branches that are kind of mixed up in the dirt, once that's gone, they'll all recede back into the woods. There's no getting rid of termites down here in the south. There's no getting rid of wood-destroying insects. All you can do is try to keep them back into the woods. But for right now, they're helping me out. I'm being patient. Let the bacteria do its job. Let the fungi do their jobs. Let the insects do their job. And in the meantime, my job is to keep the grasses down, keep the saplings from coming up, and eventually kill them off when they've just run out of gas. Then when I finally have the equipment that I need, then I can come out here, pull the stumps or grind them or do whatever I gotta do to get that final grade on everything. Patience. So is it worth it? For me, absolutely. Would I recommend it? No. If you're as crazy as I am, then go for it. Just know, I'm giving you a warning now, you might void your warranty on your mower. Just don't tell them what you were doing with it if you have to take it into the shop. With all of that, that is it, guys. You be good. I'll see you on the next one.